Welcome to a perfectly fascinating deep dive today. We're tackling a question that's probably crossed every cat lover's mind at some point. Are male cats really big softies?
Mhm.
Or are female felines just more, well, discerning with their affection? And, I've got some interesting personal experience with this, so I'm excited to see what we uncover today.
It's a question that definitely sparks a lot of debate, that's for sure. Because, individual cat personalities, they vary so much. But there are some really interesting tendencies based on, well, their sex. And I think we can unpack some of that today. What immediately stands out to me from like what you were saying is this whole idea of loyalty versus just like overall affection. That's a key distinction.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mentioned earlier that my female cats, they were practically Velcro to my side, like hated when I left. But
Aw.
they weren't really as keen on, strangers or anything like that. So it was such an intense focus on like ME. Do you think it was more about them like needing me versus like genuine, emotionally driven affection?
Yeah. See, that's where it gets really cool, right? Like understanding feline behavior. Because
Yeah.
cats are social creatures, we
Mm.
know that, but their whole social structure is so different from, like, dogs, for
All
example.
right, right.
So in the wild, female cats, they often will actually raise kittens communally. So they kind of have that already kind of built in,
Yeah.
that capacity for like these strong bonds. Males, on the other hand, are often way more solitary.
Hmm.
So this actually might explain why your female cats, they were showering you with love, but they were maybe a little more reserved, with others. Makes sense.
Totally. It's like their own little pride or pack or whatever you call a group of cats.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm like, the leader. Okay, so then that brings me to, we've talked about the females, but then there's the males. I've also known male cats, though, who are just these complete charmers, like friendly with everyone they meet. It's almost like that friendly neighborhood cats stereotype?
Hmm.
Is that just them being big flirts, or like, what's the deal with that?
You know, it actually ties back into those social roles we were talking about. So males, because they don't have that same, responsibility of like dedicated kitten rearing, right? They might actually benefit from being more, broadly affable, like you said. So it could be like a survival tactic almost.
Uh,
Making friends equals more potential food sources, maybe less chance of, conflict. So your observation about the males, how they're very affectionate overall, really highlights this.
so, okay, if
Okay.
I'm like, if someone listening right now is thinking, I want a cuddly cat,
Right.
is one sex better than the other? Based on all this.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
I know.
But here's the thing. There's no, like, one-size-fits-all answer, right? Because every cat is different. But the key takeaway here, I think, is that both sexes, males and females, they're totally capable of deep affection. But they might express it in different ways. And actually, I think your experiences are a perfect example of that. So understanding those nuances, that can help people find a cat that's truly the right fit for what they're looking for in that relationship.
See, this is why I love these deep dives. I'm already rethinking like how I interact with, all the cats in my life.
I love that. That's what I like to hear.
Food for thought.
Absolutely. And here's something else, while you're thinking about all this, to ponder. Okay. We focused on like those typical tendencies based on male, female, but think about this. How might a cat's early experiences, like if they were raised with other cats or even like different types of humans, right? How might that impact their personality, individually and even their affection style as they grow up?
Ooh, good one. Okay, listeners, you heard it here first. Another deep dive awaits. We'll see you next time.